Coaches, if you haven't heard about the movement, Character Matters, go over to coachcharacter.com. I think we all agree as coaches, we are constantly trying to strengthen our programs based off character values. We all know that character shows up on and off the field, and a lot of times we don't have the tools as coaches to continue to develop that character. So go over to coachcharacter.com because this is something that every single coach in all sports at all levels should be doing. coachcharacter.com and go strengthen your culture. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Wade. I want to introduce you real quick. Wade Salem. He is the founder of Character Matters. And we go back, almost 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because we both come from a coaching family. Your dad was a college head coach. So was mine. Your brother coaches in college still. And so we've had a lot of back and forth, and we're trying to get the word out, and I'm doing everything I can to help you. But I want you to explain to us first what your vision for Character Matters is, why you started it, and just kind of the basis of what it encompasses.
Sure. Growing up in a coaching family, sports was huge. All my three other brothers coached. Two of them are still coaching in college. Tim's at Georgia Tech, Brad's at Memphis. So my dad coached for 20 plus years in college. So growing up with that, I kind of knew the coaching world. I was the smart one in my family and played basketball. So
yeah,
I went to Northern Arizona University, walked on, made the team. Then at the end of the year, I was given a scholarship, not because of my talent, but because of my character and my leadership. That's what the coach told me. So
right.
I knew from the beginning that was important. And obviously, I think we all know that we believe that, character is important. But I found out over the years is what do coaches doing to be intentional? And Character Matters, it became like we started coming alongside coaches, and we just saw this big gap between we all say something's important, but what does it really look like? And I've been on a journey now for almost a quarter of a century.
Yeah, long time.
Start saying a quarter century, 25 years. 10 of them knowing you with coaches like yourself that want to make a difference, care about kids, care about culture, care about excellence. That competition on and off the field or court is really good. And I came to a place where how do I help guys? Because I had a bunch of coaches just kind of asking questions and what was that process? And I'm the type of guy that is kind of a process guy.
Right.
Well, I'm this middleman trying to figure out these steps to make this happen. And I believe there's a future worth creating by developing character in young men and women, one team at a time. And that all started with a few teams back in Erie, Pennsylvania, where we're living at the time, and just going and talking to their team 10 minutes a week. And then it just started becoming something that was coaches were liking it because it was connecting with kids. It was connecting with coaches. And we didn't have anything like together, just going and doing these talks. And then people started calling from Ohio and Wisconsin and, hey, what's that thing you're doing? I'm like, I don't know. We're talking to teams. Send me something. It's like, we didn't have anything.
Right.
And over the years, what happened is we found out like you can't get everywhere yourself. So how do we equip and empower the coach? Because that's the most important voice in a program. How do we give a coach a tool that he can walk out a process that is easy and effective? Because today's world in the coach.
Yeah.
Coaches, we don't have time. So how do we give coaches something where they can execute a theme of the week? And so every year we start developing a curriculum so a coach can do a theme of the week. And every year we do a theme. Our original goal was to do 4 years worth. So from a freshman to a senior, coach had something different every year. Well, we're on year 19. So next year we'll be going on year 20, where every year we come up with a theme. It's like this year's theme, you can see in the background right here. It's the difference. It's a curriculum, and it just is an acronym. So it's truthful, heart, endurance, discipline, inspire, fight, forgive, execute. And you just go down the line, and for each week, your PowerPoint's done. Everything you need as a coach to deliver it to your team. That's short and sweet. So we started years ago, and it's kind of just growing one team at a time, and then a school, and we even have districts on board. So it's trying to keep pace and come alongside coaches. We're not a program. A program has an ending. You do the 13 weeks, you're done.
Right.
We're asking coaches to join a movement, a revolutionary movement to capture the heart of kids, because we're all learning and coaching never ends. And then I'm still learning through this process. So we're trying to get with coaches, say, here's how you coach character. Here's step number one. I believe it's important. Now I need to be intentional. Then the magic starts when we begin to integrate it. And that's where you start in practice the words we use, the things we say to kids. So it has been an incredible honor to walk with coaches like yourself and the list of coaches. Like, we send out a text message every other week to coaches. And,
I still get them.
yep, sent yours.
I still get them.
I finished mine this morning of all the other guys that were on the list. Just copy paste, and to get feedback and being able to encourage coaches and their journeys, from coaches who are winning titles, ranked in the top 100 in high school football or other sport programs, to coaches who are struggling. Last 4 weeks have been an absolute nightmare, and they're just getting their, I get texts every week from coaches going through so many different things. And
that's good.
The thing is about characters, it's foundational. There's nothing below it. You can't do anything else. Once we get down here, whether you're an elite team or whether you're just starting a program and you're 1-8 right now and you're struggling, your volleyball team's doing this or that. Now we're building something, and I think most guys know culture is important, but what are you doing about it?
Yeah. Well, I think, and we've spent a lot of time talking, but, building character, creating a culture that builds character and working on that intentionally and proactively, that's ever evolving.
Yeah.
No one person ever gets to the point where their character is so rock solid that they can't continue to improve. With the environment that we're in, with social media, with the challenges that people face on a daily basis, and they're all different, like that, your character is constantly tested. And that's an evolution. You're always having to grow, and in order to grow, you have to strengthen your character. And we've all faltered. We've all failed in some character aspect or another at some point. But the thing about that is, and what you guys do is you can fail. It's okay, but learn from it and grow and become stronger in that area, right? And so a lot of questions, because I really want coaches to understand what they're getting with this movement and the curriculum per se. How much, let's just take a football team, okay, that has one game a week, because that's easiest. And even, let's say, a volleyball team that may have 2 or 3 matches a week. It's still the same thing because it goes week to week, yes?
Yes.
How much time does it take, and when you instruct coaches and you educate them on how to implement the character matter movement and the curriculum, how much time does it take per week at the beginning of the week to show the PowerPoint, and talk about what the focus is for that week?
We're asking coaches, it takes probably 8 to 10 minutes to go through the PowerPoint, the handout, the hang up, the stuff you have in the curriculum. Here's the information. All we're giving you is the framework. And then there's your stories. Hey, remember our game Friday? We're in the fourth quarter. We just didn't execute. We were out of condition. We didn't finish. And our theme this coming week is endure. So what are we looking for this week? How do we finish plays? How do we finish quarters? How do we finish games? Right. So it only takes a short amount of time, but here's the key. I just shared 8 to 10 minutes with my team. You go to a lot of practices and listen to coaches after practice. They go on and on and on. They're spending 10, 15, 20 minutes talking to the wind, because after a few minutes, your players aren't even listening to you anymore.
Yes.
And so what we're asking is, it's 8 to 10 minutes to say, here's our theme. Here's our character quality we want to focus on. And we want to practice this character quality, because at the end of the week, I want to see it turn into a championship quality that when you perform. Yeah. And then what happens is the next day at Tuesday, right at the beginning of practice, hey guys, our theme this week is endure. So let's finish everything. Finish your technique, finish your plays. Let's finish practice well. Endure on 3. 1, 2, 3, endure. And then at the end of practice, it's another 15, 20 seconds. You
Yeah.
start adding those little moments up, and then there'll be a time in practice where you'll be able to tell a kid who doesn't finish a technique, doesn't get to the right spot, or doesn't finish a play, hey, our theme is endure. Now, here's the difference, and you said that we have to continually develop character. You can't take a day off on this stuff. I know when I take days off, I pay for it. You
Right.
know,
Me too.
if you don't work out for a few weeks, try going back to
Yeah.
the gym and running again, you're back to ground zero. But when it comes to culture, we get what we get, whether we're intentional or not. You get the culture you got. So coaching character is hard. Coaching a team without character is harder.
Yes.
What hard are you going to choose?
Right.
So
Right.
if you spend this little time to be intentional, we just tell coaches, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And as this is going on, you start to see these trends happening. But it gives you a tool to go, when I see a kid not enduring, now I get to discipline him into something. Instead of just telling a kid, God, you're lazy. God, you have no discipline. You can't endure. You never finish. Now I'm going to coach him and become one who finishes.
Right.
And that's the key. But it's a short time. We don't have a lot of time as coaches.
No.
And you look now today, we're just getting shrunk on our time. There's so much else to do. So it's short and it's sweet. We know who we're working with. But we've also seen coaches like yourself that when you have your team meeting, that 10 minutes becomes a conversation with your team into a 15, 20. I've been in meetings where it turned into this 30-minute dialogue of stuff that went way beyond your sport.
Right.
And it's a chance to really communicate with kids and pour into them of who you becoming as a person, not just a player.
Yeah. And you know what? I think having coached at the high school level, having coached at the college level, even the junior college level, and I know you work with all levels, you work with high school, you work with colleges and stuff like that. There's a common denominator with your curriculum. And it's very simple, because I know at the end of the week, if your word of the week is endure, you're gonna, you encourage coaches, and you have certificates to give a certificate to the kid, the person that exemplified, what the character matter curriculum was for that week. But coaches, think about this for a second. You're giving away. I know at the college level, you're giving away scout team player of the week, offense, defense, special teams. You're giving away offensive player of the week, defensive player of the week. You're giving this award, that award, and you do it all in the team meeting on the Monday that you come back from the previous week before you move on to the next team. High schools do the same thing. They usually do it Saturday. They give away awards Saturday morning. And how easy is it to have this character award to give it to someone that exemplifies that? So that's the common denominator. But if you take it into a deeper level, I know some high schools are big enough where they'll have a Monday meeting, meet with as a team, go over some things, go over the scouting report, and then they break up into position groups, okay, or unit groups. That happens every week at the college level. You know that, I know that. And so it's even one of those things where, because I know Character Matter not only trains the head coach, but trains the assistants too on how to implement the curriculum. And it is so easy. You can divide that and say, hey, your defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, I'm going to introduce, it's endure for the week. Your coordinators will go through in your unit meetings, or your position coaches will go through in the position meetings.
Yeah.
And again, it's 10 minutes, and it sets the tone for the entire week.
Absolutely. But also keeps everybody on the same page, because here's what's happening in too many places is we outsource this to somebody else. We have somebody come into our program and talk about character. They come in for the 10, 15 minutes, but they leave. And now as coaches, I'm going to go do my sport.
Right.
And here's the thing. Character development does not happen until it's integrated into your sport. The word integrate the word character comes from a Greek word, which means to scratch and engrave. So that's only going to come when we go to practice and play games. When we're talking in a meeting, I can hear about character. I can get some more knowledge on it. I can question myself. But now I'm going to practice, and I'm going to have to demonstrate it. I am going to have to see if I have this or not. And when I do, will I get rewarded for it? And when I don't, Will I be corrected so I can demonstrate it next time and learn, like you just said, so I can get better? And that's one of the biggest issues today is we're having someone in talk character, but they leave. Coaches don't even know what the message is.
Right.
So, but when you work with our curriculum, when you start your week, imagine in your staff meeting, here's our theme this week. It's on the top corner of your practice plan. Your posters are in your locker room, your coaches' meeting rooms. So my assistant coach knows exactly what is being said. And
Right.
here's the real issue. So when I get to practice, I can reinforce that message. I can point out to a kid, and you said we give certificates. We have a certificate. You type the kid's name in and give it out that week to who demonstrated endurance that week. You will become what you recognize and reward. And the thing is when it comes to character, we don't do any of that. We tell kids what they're doing wrong all the time. But when you start putting a kid up in front of their peers and say, you're the one that finishes, you're the one that endures. Also, next week, another kid, I want one of those. I want someone to see I have something in me. And
Right.
here's the issue when we're going to practice and we're scratching and engraving in kids' lives, character qualities, it helps them be somebody, not just demonstrate. We're not looking for behavior modification. We're not looking for good sportsmanship and we shook hands after the game and we didn't have any ejections. I mean, that should be an outcome. What we're looking for is people to develop championship qualities on and off the field. We call them the 3 C's: competition, classroom, and community. That what I'm talking about in my team room better impact competition. And eventually, hopefully, it transfers to the classroom and then to the
Which it will.
community. And if we have that, we have a revolution going on in our country because the next generation better have some goods in them,
Right.
some stuff to deal with everything that comes in life. Because if you don't have things to finish, if you don't have discipline, attitude, respect, the stuff that sports teaches us, but the real question as a coach, what are you doing about it? And you
Yeah.
talk to how many of them? You've talked to my, oh yeah, we talk about character all the time. What did you do in week 4? After practice, I talked about working hard. Well,
Right.
duh. I mean, my gosh, that's like first grade stuff. So we're trying to get coaches to be very intentional, consistent, systematic. So we have a routine in our program. Kids know what's coming. And I'm telling you what, I can't tell you how many stories where a coach does the theme of the week for 4 or 5 weeks in a row, then gets busy. All of a sudden, the kids are going to go, hey, where's that character talk?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. It's doing something in me. In today's world, as you know, a lot of kids aren't getting this at home. A
No.
lot of kids aren't going to church. They don't get it in their other
Nope.
classes. To have someone give them 10 minutes to think about themselves and speak into their life about how this is going to help you as an athlete in your competition, how it's going to help you in life. And then when you have coaches sharing stories about what they're going through. I mean, we had a coach a couple of years back. It was one of the defensive line coaches shared that week. So it not only was the head coach sharing, he had different assistants sharing. What's pretty cool about the curriculum, your varsity is doing this, but also your JV and freshmen are on the same page. They could
Right.
be doing the theme of the week themselves. So the freshman kids are talking about what the varsity's talking about.
Yep.
Can you imagine sending varsity players to your freshman team saying, hey, here's our theme of the week? I mean, what would that start to do? But this defensive line coach got up and, in fact, a couple of years ago, it was endure. I think it was perseverance. And the coach got up and started talking about his dad who just battled through cancer.
Oh.
Now, he went through chemo and he got to the other side and made it. And this coach was sharing life about what he saw in his dad endure and finish. And the head coach called me up afterward and said, Wade, there wasn't a dry eye in that
I'm
room
sure.
of our team. And something happened to our team that day.
Yeah.
Not only did they see the coach as a human being, wow, he's a real person, but there's just some dynamic when you have stuff like that going on. And the thing is the coach took time to say, this is that 10 minutes that we're doing our character talk. Why? Because it's important and it matters. So it's so key to be consistent with it.
I think so. And, there were many times, and I know I'm guilty of this, and I know every coach is, where it's like, okay, in your mind, I want to do this. This is the avenue that I want to go. But you don't have that plan.
Yeah.
It's in your mind. You have the content, but how do I come up with a plan? And then once I do have the plan, I was just talking about this with my business partner earlier. Once you do have the plan, how do you put it into
Yeah.
action? Because you can have the content, not know the plan,
Yeah.
but you can, and then you can have the content, you can put together a plan, but then you have to turn it into action.
Yeah.
And what
Deliver it.
you've done is, and I know you're always trying to perfect it and it's always changing, but you've come up with not only the content, you've come up with the plan, i.e., the system, and you teach guys how to make it an action item.
Yes.
And the other thing I'll say to coaches out there, because I know, especially specifically high school coaches, college coaches delegate. It's easy for them to put this into place, but high school coaches, head coaches specifically, first of all, you need to do this. Hands down, you need to do this. You want a culture of character, which every single person talks about, but then acting on it, doing community service is not enough.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to be weekly. You have to stack your weeks. You have to stack your days. So every high school coach, in my opinion, should be doing this in their program, and it's simple. Secondly, if you are a head coach and you're like, well, we already do this and we already do that, and you're doing all this stuff, it's very easy. Think about it from the FCA standpoint. Every high school staff, most of the times, the head coach is not the liaison to the FCA person in their area. They assign an assistant coach to be the FCA liaison and handle all FCA stuff. Character Matters is no different. All you have to do, because your coaches are going to be educated, give a couple of your coaches the responsibility of being the liaison and the lead for Character Matters, and have them put together all the pieces. So when you get up on Monday, you can just talk about it, and then that educates the coaches, which educates the players. So I'll say it again. Every single coach that listens to this needs to be doing Character Matters, needs to be doing this program. It's already put together. It's the content, the plan, and the action.
Well,
You don't have to worry about that.
That's the number one thing we hear from coaches. It's already done. I
Yeah.
have a coach in Ohio that has ordered it for years on end because every year we do a new curriculum. So he goes, I believe everything in your curriculum. I just never had time to write it down.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that deliverable package, I was with a coach who pulled out a notebook that's probably this thick, full of poems and articles. And I mean, the content was awesome.
Was great. Yeah.
But it was like, okay, what do? Go through it on a Sunday night and pull a sheet of paper out? And so what we've done over the years is we literally have gotten it organized where you have your curriculum, your posters so you can show it, your PowerPoint so it's seen, your content's done, your handout, your evaluation. It's already finished. So the content's there, the plan's there. It's like there's a lot of coaches who you can go watch as much film as you want. You can write up your plays, but then you got to go practice.
Right.
And you got to execute. And then when it comes game time, that's a whole nother issue because all of a sudden here comes a blitz, here comes a different coverage, something happens, you have a turnover, and life starts happening. Right. So when you said it, so many coaches, we already do this. I could almost promise you don't do it like this, where it's so simple and it puts everybody on the same page. Where a kid can walk in the locker room and see the poster. There's the theme and there's the list. There's the hang up on the door that week when he's going out, and there's the hang up on Endure. Just to remind him, on the back of a practice plan, the coach has the hang up sitting there where the kid sees it all day long. So there's little things we've learned over the years. You take that 8 to 10 minutes, but probably the coolest thing about all this is we've been able to journey with coaches. Mm-hmm. And we have coaches that have been doing this for over 10 years. And
that's awesome.
One coach in Texas, Mark Torres, he's at Jack C. Hayes High School outside Austin in Buda. And he said it best. He says, every year I try to just do one thing better than I did last year. And so each year he's gotten a little bit better. But when you've done this for 10 years, his culture right now, and he's only year 2 over there because he left a program where he built a culture in El Paso. Now he's over there. His culture accelerates so fast because he's got a plan.
Right.
He's walking it out. It has action. Content's all good. And the thing about the content every year is you can make it fit any sport. one coach called it the fortune cookie method. If you open a fortune cookie, oh, I can apply that to something.
Right,
Each week
right,
you got your theme of the week,
right.
and it's pretty cool because we just didn't, this year's theme. The third week was endure. Some coaches go in order and just go down the list. Others bounce around. But how many text messages we got that Saturday from coaches? Hey, we're down 13-0 and ran 35 straight points off in a row, and we endured. And he sends a highlight of a kid running through 6 tackles into the end zone. Just we're finishing, and you see the character quality match the competition where the kids are seeing the real thing happen. That's what character is
Yeah.
how do I demonstrate it when it's needed the most?
Well, in that, I was going to ask you, and you brought it up, so we'll lead into that. But the customization of the curriculum, it's kind of a two-part. The first thing I want to ask you, because you and I had a conversation about Chris McDonald, the head football coach at Basha High School, and he may have 11 or 14 or 15 weeks of curriculum with playoffs and so on. But you said that what does he do with the curriculum? Because I thought it was pretty interesting. I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, there's a giant poster he orders that's on next to the door heading out to practice to games right outside their locker room. And they have all the hang-ups for each one of the character qualities. So there's 13 of them this year. So he didn't go in order this year. He was looking at his team going, what do we need to do this week? So
Right.
his first one, he put it right next to the poster walking out the door. And so it was noiseless. And it was week 1. And it was like, okay, we have kids going D1. People say we're number 1 or whatever. He goes, we haven't proven a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the beginning of a year. It doesn't matter what all the noise is saying. We got to go get it done on the field, period. Welcome to sports. So he put that up. The next week, he put the next one up was discipline. And what was really cool, we walked in the locker room, and at week 1, they put the score of the game. They won week 1, they won week 2, they won week 3. So each week, you're seeing around the big poster each of the character qualities that make up the whole theme. And so he's going one at a time. He's focusing on it, saying, here's what we're after. They take time and talk about it. I think they have like a 15-minute meeting every week. I know he has a guy come in, and coaches also reinforce this. Then they're going out to practice. We did a whole training for his staff.
Yeah.
So they all know what the theme is. So when we show up at games or practice, we're talking to him about that. Hey, what's your theme this week? Hey, here's a point. I was at a field at another team, Higley High School, where Ed Zuby does a phenomenal job at it. His defensive coordinator, I was asking him before a game, what are you looking for today? And he said, well, our theme this week is discipline. So see if we stay in our lanes and do our assignments. And it's like, he goes, pretty good, huh? I'm taking the theme and putting it to what we're looking for today.
Absolutely.
So it's a tool for coaches. We've got to be intentional. We can't wing it anymore.
No.
And here's the big question. If we asked your players, do your coaches coach character, what would they say?
Yeah.
Because they know. And they know whether we're intentional. But you're saying coaches need a plan. We got one. Content's good. We got it. Here's how you walk it out. It's easy. It's effective. And it keeps you on task every week, whether your season's going good or not going good. Plus, like you said, it's the culture builder.
You're building
culture. And if you don't have culture and you don't take a week off your culture and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think we all know. And, you brought up a great point. I'm going to challenge coaches right now. You all have leadership councils. Every single coach I've talked to has a leadership and council in some form or fashion with their players. Your next leadership meeting, if you want to know if you need this or not, first question to ask your leadership council, because I know they're being honest and transparent with you. Ask them exactly what you just said. Coach, or players, are we as coaches teaching character? Yeah. And if they give any answer but yes and can give you specifics, then you're not. Meaning, if they have to think about it, if they have to come up, well, we kind of do this, and it means your culture is not built around teaching character. So challenge yourself. If you really want to grow and you really want to improve, on and off the field, ask them that question. So you do Wade, you do have packages that are completely customizable, right? So if you get a college team that comes in and said, hey, these are 15 things that we're thinking about, you can adjust it and you can customize it with your top package. You have custom packages, right?
Yeah, we have our first package, just what we call Character Matters Team. And
Right.
that's where you get the curriculum that's behind me. And then you would get like a packet of posters. So you could put these up around your locker
Mm-hmm.
room. And then we stay in touch with you during the year, whether it's emails, cell phone, you have our number to call, whatever, whenever you want. So that's been pretty cool. And that's how it all started. But then we started what's called an elite team package. What we found is if we come in and train your staff and do an hour for the whole staff, so everybody's on the
Mm-hmm.
same page, because most places it's one or two coaches think this is important and a lot of them don't really care. But we
Right.
got to get everybody on the same page, because when that happens, it accelerates everything. And then we also do a talk to your team. And we found when we did the curriculum, equipped the coaches with the training and did the team talk, it's all of a sudden we're like, wow, this happened real quick with this team. Didn't take a few years. It was like we're on point right away. So we have that
Everybody on the
elite
same
team
page.
package, which you get a lot of attention from us on that. And we try to make a game or practices throughout the year. And then it turned also into school packages, because all of a sudden the athletic director's looking at a coach going, what are you doing with your team? And, oh,
Yeah.
this is what I do. And he's like, why don't all my coaches do this? And so we've come alongside athletic directors where we give curriculum to all varsity programs to come and do a training. And there isn't a school in America that has a common character curriculum for their entire athletic department.
Right.
I
Right.
haven't found one. I mean, you
Good.
got all these different people doing different things, but you imagine coming on the same page, that my football team speaking the same language as my softball, my cross country, my basketball, my wrestling, my badminton. We're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And you imagine going in the training room, weight room, front office, and there's the poster where kids are seeing this all over the place. Not only kids, but teachers, parents, other
Yeah.
students.
Yeah.
And
Community. And you
yeah,
mentioned that earlier. I mean, these athletic directors in college. I mean, there's very few people that are doing it as a full athletic department. Yet they push. College ads push full athletic department products that they want everybody to
yeah.
do. I mean, you and I both know schools are sponsored by different, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, Reebok, all that kind of stuff, and um, it's very similar. But again, this is something that, in my opinion, I don't care what sport, I don't care what level, everybody should be doing. And we also talked about this. Talk to the coaches out there, the college coaches specifically on this one, because of the NIL and because of the transfer portal and it being like the Wild West out there, according to the head college coaches I've talked to. Um, why is implementing something like character matters year after year after year so important when their culture, and I was told once, and I think you were too, where it becomes an instant culture at the college level because of all the NIL and transfer stuff.
Well, I mean, you better have it today to have something quick and short to get a team together, because your team now is literally June to December.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't even know what's going on in the off season. And I don't think
Right.
any even coaches, they keep changing the rules so much on everybody. We don't even know what the rules are.
Yeah.
So how do I have something in place where I'm not winging it, but a kid coming in June can see on the wall, this is who we are. This is who we're becoming. Here's our list we're after. And it's not, okay, we're going to have grit, we're going to be accountable, and we're going to fight hard, and we have mental toughness. And here's a list of 10 to 13 character qualities that we want you to become. Because here's
Right.
what's happening in coaching, and it's even in high school. To have a kid for 4 years at your school's ain't
Rare.
going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
College, that's going to be a miracle, period. So, as a coach, what's your vision and your passion and purpose? I mean, a lot of times now you're going to have a kid for maybe 1-2 years.
Yeah.
So, why do you
Yep.
coach?
Yep.
I need a short term result to get a W. That'd be great. Why do you coach? What goes beyond the scoreboard that's if I have a kid here for just 6 months and I'm going to develop him, I'm going to pour into him, and then he's gone. That sucks because the one thing that you don't get to really see is that development over 4 years now. But you are a piece of that puzzle because are we here to help and serve others,
Yes.
or are you here for me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real shift in coaching because either those kids are there for you to build your little kingdom and get your world right, or am I here to serve and you're here? And for a lot of places today, it might be 1 year, maybe two, maybe three.
Right.
And if you do get a kid that stays four, something real's going on there. But
Yeah.
otherwise, what happens if you do help a kid and he is able to move on to another program? The way the world is, I mean, you wouldn't turn that down either. And the
Right.
fact that kids these days are having to make decisions on amount of money like that, I mean, is mind blowing. We're not
Ridiculous.
even wired for that,
No.
which means if they don't have some coping mechanisms in their world, we are going to screw up some kids real quick.
Yeah.
And so if we don't have a character foundation for kids to walk through that, the outcome of this years from now is going to be real interesting to see. But as a coach, you better have something in place, and you better not have some guest speaker come in
Well,
and
I
do
was
it
going to ask you
for
about
you.
that. Yeah.
Because I talked to my brother at Georgia Tech, and he said last year they had preseason had, I mean, the best of the best. Inky
Inky
was coming
Johnson, all
in.
those.
He said every third night it was a home run, and I mean, it was awesome. And he goes, we
Yeah.
must have spent I don't know how much money on that. But he goes, in October, I don't remember a thing anybody said. So,
Neither do those players.
so that's why what's interesting is here's a curriculum we're giving you. So this is a plan you're walking out every week. So at the rest of their life, kids will see a D in difference, and that means discipline.
Yeah.
They'll remember that the rest of their life. Now I'm walking out a plan and a purpose of not some outsider coming and throwing something else that will motivate us for Monday. But then the issue is what happens Tuesday, Wednesday? What happens next week? I can go motivate coaches. And I used to remember going to coaching workshops and getting inspired myself and seeing coaches like, yeah, I'm going to go make a difference. But then we all walked out of the room. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Now I go back and I got 5 classes, 1 prep period. Have you had time to put something together? And that's where we have tried to figure out how do we help coaches. Your game plan is done. Now you just got to go call your plays.
Right. Listen, like I've said before, all these coaches are hiring strength coaches to get their athletes bigger, stronger, faster. Invest and take the time to hire a character coach that's going to give you the tools to in a plan, but the tools to help you develop the character. You need a character coach, and this is what Character Matters is.
Yeah.
Last thing,
But
go
the
ahead,
other
Wade.
thing about that, it's not just getting until the coaches are empowered.
Yes.
They have to do it because I've seen too many head guys pass it along that I don't have to do it. It's like we're not telling our kids. I mean, if you can have a character coach, it's awesome, but he better be someone who can relate to coaches, relate to players, and make sure everybody's on the same page and get everybody involved. Because otherwise it is outsourced. It's one guy doing this, then we go play our sport. And so when the coaches get the curriculum, you're responsible to teach this.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's pretty cool when the head coach starts getting his assistants to share it. And now someone's got to step up and share something that week. And it helps assistants step up and talk to the whole team because that's training in itself right there. A lot of these guys want to be head coaches and you haven't even spoken in front of a group before, So our passion is how do we equip coaches? Like when you were doing the curriculum and other coaches and your passion to help coaches, like here's one of the cornerstones of your program. It better be a character cornerstone. If you don't have that in place, you're not going to make it. You might have talent to get to places, but it will not be sustained because this is the anchor to everything, not only in our own lives individually, as we both know. I mean, because we are human and we have screwed up and we're not perfect, but I'm trying to get better, trying to learn a little bit and keep moving on.
Yeah, and let me correct something just because when I was saying a character coach, where I was going, what I meant was Character Matters is that coach.
Yeah.
Right. The curriculum is that coach, not bringing an individual coach to talk to your team every single
Yeah,
week about
exactly.
character and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But character matter being that vessel, that coach that you have access to and is a part of your staff and is a part of your program and is a part of your culture
Yeah.
on a daily and weekly basis. So no, that's spot on. Last thing I want you to end on, because you threw out some pretty cool stats to me. So give us some stats, because the proof is in the pudding. Um, with the programs that are using character matters compared to the programs that that aren't.
Well, a lot of ADs that we talk to that have multiple teams in their schools using the curriculum, the ADs simply say, I have less problems with those programs than the ones who don't.
Yeah.
There was an AD who asked his entire staff who they were doing the school package, so everybody had a curriculum, and he found out who's really doing it and who's not. And they were all just being honest. And then he said the teams that were using the curriculum, the winning percentage was 82%. The ones not using it was 44.
Yeah.
There's also in Arizona, they have AIA has a rating system, so the refs can go
Right.
rate after the game. They can rate the coaches, the players, the fans. So your team gets graded by referees. And so one AD literally flipped his computer screen around and said, I want to show you something because here's an advertisement for you. In my program, I'm going to show you the ratings of all the refs ratings of my teams. And he went down and it's 1 out of 5.
Right.
4.6, 4.3, 4.5,
Five being the highest.
4.1. Yeah, 5 being the highest, 2.1, 4.7. And he went through and there were 2 teams that were in the 2s. He goes, which ones do you think are using Character Matters curriculum and which ones aren't? And he goes, my 2 that are rated in the below average, they don't even do this. And what was real interesting, though, the next year the AD went to that coach and said, I'll help you implement your theme of the week. I'll literally come by and start 10-minute talks with your teams. And his rating the next year went from a 2.3 to a 4.1. And
Proof.
we all know, but the other thing about this, it's an intangible thing.
Right.
How do you measure something that's intangible? Because I get asked that from school board members or principals. What's the statistics on this? Well, here's my question back. What happens if you don't do it? What are the statistics on that? Can you tell me? Well, I could tell you, look at things in our country and look what's going on. And when character's not being addressed, not being grown, not being promoted, pushed, and pounded in kids' lives, we see the difference.
Yes.
In programs that are undisciplined, struggling to overcome things. If you don't have something in place when the crap hits the fan, we can't coach character out of crisis.
Right.
Which happens too often.
It's happening. Yes.
Something happens in a program. All of a sudden we get calls that Character Matters business card that was there for 4 years. Hey, we need some help. Instead of, I'm going to be intentional to eliminate, I'm going to be proactive, not reactive.
100%. Well, Wade, this has been magnificent. You can tell I'm juiced up. I know you are. But again, if anybody's interested, which I hope everybody is, just reach out and, I'll get you in touch with Wade.
Sure.
And you can go from there. And again, I'll say it again, and then I'll leave the last word to you, Wade. But every single coach that listens to this and every single coach that listens to it that has friends that are other coaches, you need to get it out, because this is something every single coach in every single program at every single level in every single sport should be implementing.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're truly there to serve, which we are, there's no reason why you shouldn't be.
We are here to help, and we have the tools, and it's been through the fire of 20 plus years with coaches that it works, and we're here to come alongside you. And the other stat is when coaches get the curriculum, we have a 95% retention rate of coaches who get it the next year, because now they found a tool. And we have coaches that have been doing this for over 15 years, ordering the curriculum every year, which is pretty cool to go. I don't know if you can see the bottom corner of my bookshelf of all the curriculums. And when you go to coaches' offices and you see 10 years worth of curriculums, He's had his character game plan in place, and you can tell a difference in the program.
Yeah. Well, Wade, thank you very much for taking the time. We'll circle back. We'll dive more into this later on. And
Absolutely, anytime. Love being with you, Corbin. Thank you so much.
thanks, Wade. Hold on a sec, okay?
You bet.